Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Aquarius. Um, Aquarius, as usual, I'm doing your reading with my own tarot deck, and so the cards that you'll see are from this deck. Aquarius, I know that you, as a very airy, very flowy, very free sign, you're all about, reassuring or keeping your freedom safe. And it feels like there is a process of detachment or like detangling some sort of very emotional connections or bonds or roots or relationships. It's interesting how I'm seeing that this is for this higher purpose. So it's almost like there has been perhaps a period of, saying goodbyes or detaching yourself from loved ones, or because it is coming through as people that you care about, and that is sad to, remove yourself from them, or like separate your lives, because it's almost like it's coming through as an example, like a very personal example for me, because is like it's almost like I can see this detachment coming through as sisters, because I have a twin sister, and so this is just the picture that is coming through as an example, right? But it's like there's a very beautiful embrace that connects you with another person, Aquarius. And although this is something that is sad, right, to part ways, this is something that it's like now is the time, and it's actually overdue. This is what actually this card is talking about, the opening card of your reading, the Judgment. This was almost like there was a little bit of impatience in this card. It's almost like the verdict or the result or the understanding that this timing has come. It's like you have known that. It's almost like you are in this courtroom, right, and the judge has already announced the decision, but there's something that is keeping you from not accepting it, but actually like actualizing it or turning into something that is manifested, or that is concrete, that uh follows through. Because it's almost like there is a little bit of a second, like a, how do you call it, hemming down on this, or like sounding the announcement, or sounding the, or voicing the decision, right? But this is like well, actually we have another major arcana here, but it's almost like the impatience is coming from, like, why are you waiting here if what is waiting for you when you remove yourself from the situation is much better, right? It's almost like, because to me major arcana is like the access to the higher realms, so it's like this higher perspective or this broader point of view that when we are here embedded in this physical reality, we cannot see from their perspective. So there is a little bit of like, hurry up, Aquarius. What is keeping you from, falling through with this decision that is in your favor? The reason why I'm saying that is because after this Judgment, we have two eights, the Eight of Cups, that is coming as the emotional interlaced embrace, or the emotional bond, right? This is coming through. Well, these two cards, actually, the two eights, here we have the Eight of Wands. It's like, to me, the eights, because of the overlapping of the two fives, right? I know this is an eight, and if we think of, there isn't actually two fives, but it's just because they are over imposing one another. So one five is here and then the other is here. So it's almost like these are the hands that are locked, or the embrace that is like too close. So it's almost like these two cards are talking about this very close proximity of you and another, right? This is the reason why it's coming through as a hug, like a very tight hug. It's almost like you know that maybe because of this being such an important decision, right? This can be life changing, can be, some sort of redirection of your life, which is also coming through here. But the good news is, Aquarius, if you feel like, yes, you are being separated, yes, you are, having your lives, redirected in a sense, the message here mainly, is like, despite you want to just hold on this embrace for a little bit longer, even though like already what is the new path, or what is that you have to do, or what is the direction that this relationship has to go next, right? And it's something that, the impatience that I was already seeing here, it's like, it's just growing with the Eight of Wands, right? Because it's the fastest card. So this is almost like the timing of this announcement. The longer you wait, I know that you want to, just enjoy this embrace a little longer, because maybe you won't see this person like that you are really connected to for maybe quite some time, right? But this has to happen. It's almost like you are turning this into something that it's almost like, do not keep your potential from shining through just because of the attachment maybe to this very emotional bond that you hold with somebody, right? It's almost like this is the message that this one, well, this realm, this higher realm, wants to make sure that you understand, right? It's like, do not overextend your period of, saying goodbyes, or, just really detaching yourself from this person. And it's not something that is easy for you. It's almost something that burns your heart, right? This is what, the fire coming from the wands and the cups here representing the water realm, right? But straight to the heart. So because it's such an emotional connection, you just want to stay in there a little longer, right? But the longer you stay, the longer it will burn you to say goodbye, right? So it is hard, but it's something that is to your benefit. The reason why I'm saying that is because of these two cards that actually they flip together. So the 10 of Wands and the 5 of Cups. So look at this, Aquarius, how interesting. I just love when the cards do this. It's like, to me, visually, it's so clear. Remember when I was talking about the overlaying of two people in a very tight embrace, right? With the eights. So it's like the fives, right? To me, the fives are, well, in this case specifically, they're talking about individuality, right? And here is this bond that is just connecting you even more, right? But this is something that, well, if we think of the Eight of Cups as, this like parting ways, right? Allowing yourself to, have that last look backwards, but then move on with your life. So, but here we are talking about saying goodbye to a person that you are very, very connected, that you care deeply for, and vice versa, I have to say. But because of these two cards that turn together, to me, this is the like the overlay of two fives. And here with the 10 of Wands, we have the two fives, but they are now split apart, right? It's like, if here, it's almost like there was this kind of urgency to remove yourself from this embrace. Otherwise, you would just stay there forever, right? It would be very difficult for you, Aquarius, to really say goodbye to this one specifically. And so here, because it's almost like now that you are here and the other one is here, it's like, it's like you are, a few meters apart, or a few inches apart, or a few feet apart. And it's almost like the detangling process or the detachment process is beginning, right? Because it is what is supposed to happen, because it is what's been decided from the higher realms. And when you see yourself, you know, when this embrace is like freed in a sense, right? When you are free to see yourself as an independent being or an individual, right? Apart from this, it's almost like you cannot identify who is who in the embrace, right? It's almost like both of you are so connected that you become one, or maybe you have been, you know, as the case of me and my twin sister, right? We were born together. So it's almost like we have the same DNA, the same blood. So it's like that type of bond, right? That maybe has spent your whole life, right? But now is the time where you will see yourselves as mirrors to each other, meaning that, you know, if you were so locked into the embrace, it's like it was really hard to perceive you from the other. But here, when, because it's been a decision that has been, you know, made, not it's not a conscious choice, right? It's not even a question of choice. This is what I'm hearing right now. It's not a question of choice, it's just a matter of timing, right? It's almost like it was always supposed to be like this in a sense. But here, well, this is the interesting thing, right? Here is like the two fives interlaced. And when you are able to perceive yourself as a separate individual from this other individual, right? It's like you see you and you see them. It's, you understand the independence of these two beings, like you being one of them. It's almost like if you have always perceived yourself as like this team, as this couple, or this, you know, group, well, group of two, right? This duo, actually, this is now the time to perceive yourself as an individual because of the Five of Cups, right? Here is talking all about individuality. So it doesn't mean that you lose all of your sensitivity or all of your ability to find like the emotional connections, right? The emotional connections are in you. They belong to you. It's like they are part of your being. They are part of who you are individually, you see? But this decision that is coming from this higher realm, right, from the judgment, that it's actually overdue, or it's almost like you heard it the first time, but it's almost like it required a little bit of, well, to you, it's almost like you could have taken a little bit longer, but it had to happen quickly. Otherwise, it would be too messy, perhaps, especially with the 10 of Wands. But this is something that either way, it's almost like it's not in your control, Aquarius, right? So the sun coming next, this is also talking about this higher potential, right? It's another major arcana. But it has to come from this place of individuality. It cannot shine through when you feel like you are more than one. It's almost like, well, the sun in astrology specifically talks about, you know, the individual, talks about, yes, ego, the personality, but talks about like being in your essence, like really breathing your essence and shining your individual light, your individual potential. When you are here in this really beautiful embrace, there's nothing wrong about it. It's just the sadness comes from you know, parting ways, and you knowing that you will have to detach from this person that you love so much, and vice versa. But the only way that you can truly find your highest potential, Aquarius, is when you find yourself free from any kind of bond, any kind of attachment, right? Especially the ones that are so closely connected to your heart. And, you know, this can, you know, be very controversial in a way, right? Because if we think of humanity being such like a relationship kind of race or species, like we need each other, right? But this is talking about finding your own light, finding your own path. And this doesn't mean that this parting ways will be like each one will go, you know, opposite ways. Actually, this is quite the contrary, with this card ending your reading, the Ten of Swords. So this is reinforcing the necessity here for you to see yourself as separate from this one who you are so closely connected to, right? Because this Ten of Swords, you know, especially coming after the Sun and this Five, it's almost like when you find yourself free from all of these bonds, right? As an independent light, as a light that has your own ego, that has your own personality, that has your own light to shine through yourself, like not through another, right? This is when there is freedom of movement. This is what this card was showing me, not through words, but as like a visual. So I was seeing this card as like, you know, when I feel like this image has come in another reading, but I cannot, it's been like a while since I've had that kind of visual in my mind, but it's coming through right now. But I cannot remember the reading that it came through, but it's coming through as like a very long but very ethereal kind of launching pad, or like an airplane type of field, or you know, the runway. What is it called? I don't know if it's because I've watched the new Top Gun movie last week, and I'm like with that path, the boat, the big ship where the planes land and they take off. What is it called? You know what I mean, right? So this is what this is showing me, this Ten of Swords. But there, okay, so again, the two fives, right? The two fives, the two independent beings facing the same direction. So it's almost like the launching pad is the same. It's just that both of you are now in separate egos, or separate vessels, or separate planes. But not plane as in dimension. It's like just the vessel is different. It's almost like the consciousness is now separate, right? Does it make sense? It's like there is a little bit of knowing that from separating from each other, you will flourish. It's almost like you will grow to this potential, but you have to fly off in separate airplanes, in separate vessels, right? In separate bodies, in separate consciousness, right? It cannot be from this place of such merging that you cannot even tell who is who. It has to be from this place of knowing that you have your own unique light to shine, and they have their own too. And you are both embarking on your own unique airplanes, right? Or aircrafts, or whatever image or symbol suits you. It's just a metaphor, obviously. It's almost like both of you have to fly off in separate unique places, right? Or it's coming through as more like a body slash consciousness, maybe personality, right? But it happens in the same direction. It's almost like straight away when you fly off, they fly off, right? Or the other way around. So although you are trying to make this process of detachment, you know, or try to hold on a little longer to this embrace, I feel like it is a good thing that you are detaching, that you're going your separate ways, because really you're going towards the same thing, or you're going in the same direction. It's just that you have your own individuality, and so do they. So that is a good thing, because that is the way that things have been decided, because it's the only way to really reach this full potential of yours, Aquarius. So I'm going to pull more cards for you, Aquarius, and also I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be happy to see you. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.